Gentlemen, let me ask you a very important question. Has your girlfriend or wife ever expressed to you that you never listened to her? And if so, how has that impacted your relationship? I would imagine negatively, and I would imagine that's something that you would want to bridge the gap in to be able to improve communication and, more importantly, get to the deep-rooted reasons as to why sometimes as men we don't listen or we don't pay full attention. And I want you to share this with your lady. I'm not going to play devil's advocate and sort of, step in your defense and play the denial game. We are going to acknowledge, just like I did in my last video, as I was talking about the reasons men don't listen. We're going to own up to this one, okay? We're going to really own up and say that, you know what, sometimes you're right. But it's not because we don't want to listen or because we don't care about what you have to say, ladies, but there are deeply rooted reasons. So if you go back and watch that video that I previously put out, I'm talking about the tone in which you communicate things is important. The timing that you choose to approach your men to talk to them is also crucial, and also how much information you choose to divulge. There is such a thing as too much information. There's only so much that we are able to process in one sitting. So I do encourage you to watch that video, but in this video I'm going to share 3 ways that you can actually flip the table and improve the communication and the listening for you as the man. I mean, like I said, ideally, you want the communication to be effective between the two of you. So I'm making this video for this reason. I'm Jose with Swag Academy, by the way. Before we get started, do make sure to subscribe and support the channel. I put out content for all things dating, relationships, love, etc. And that is why I'm here. So let's jump right into it. So sort of spinning off of the previous video, I'm gonna give you 3 quick pointers, and these are gonna seem very simple, but you'd be surprised how effective and powerful they are if you start practicing. I'm directing now towards the ladies because obviously I assume that you want your man to be able to listen to you and to hear everything that you have to say, for you to be able to express your thoughts and your feelings and what may have happened to you in a tumultuous day. And so you need to, I'd encourage you to try these tips because you're going to see an immediate difference in how receptive your husband or your boyfriend is going to be. I've tried this myself and I know this is very effective. So number 1 is your delivery. So how you choose to approach something. I talked about this in the other video. If you're very loud, aggressive, sort of in your face, and I realize that some personality types may be inclined towards that type of communication, but we as men tend to be a lot more receptive when you are in your softer feminine nature. If you're able to sort of tone down and don't come at us so hard, not because we can't handle it, but we want to be receptive, right? So we don't need to be yelled at, and we're a lot more receptive if you talk about that. I personally love listening to my wife. I don't care how long she wants to talk to me for. If we're in bed, for example, and she's close to my ear, she's almost sort of whispering in my ear very softly without having to raise her voice, and I'm a lot more receptive because it's just a more calming way to communicate. So that's number 1. Just stay in your soft feminine nature. I guarantee you your man will be a lot more receptive to listening. Secondly, ladies, I need you to ask. I need you to ask. And what I mean by ask is take little pauses and breaks in between things that you're telling your man and ask for his opinion. Ask for his thoughts on the matter. Ask for some input. Ask for some suggestions. Men are really good analytical, logical problem solvers. We can remove all the fluff and all the drama and sort of just hone in on the problem. So use that to your advantage, because we can remove ourselves emotionally speaking and sort of detach and just sort of get to the root of the issue if that's what you're interested in. In some cases, you may just want to vent, and you may just want somebody to, hear you vent a little bit, shoulder to lean on. That's fine as well. I'm not saying you have to ask for our opinion on everything, but even if you do, what's going to happen is it's going to make your man feel a little bit more included, like it's a conversation, not like you're just talking at him, because you might as well be talking to your pet or to a wall, right? We don't want to feel like we're being talked at and we can't get a single word in. So even if you just interject the occasional, so what do you think? So what's your thoughts? Like, or, what should I do? Or things like that, regardless whether you choose to take our advice or not, just throw that in there, because he's going to feel included in the conversation and not just like it's one-sided. And lastly, I'm going to suggest, and this is probably the most powerful one that is the most underestimated, and that is the power of touch. Men respond very quickly and easily to feminine touch. So if you're sitting on the couch together, if you're in bed, if you're in the car, make it a habit. If you need your man to really dial into you and pay attention and not be distracted by other things, you need to touch him. And I'm not saying in a sexual way or anything like that. I just mean you need to make physical contact, rub up against him, hold his hand, play with his hair, scratch his back, massage his shoulders, whatever it is that you're doing as you're talking, especially if you have a lot to say, a lot to get off your chest and a lot on your mind. It's going to extend your man's patience. If he might normally only be able to, tune in with you for 5-10 minutes, if you are actively engaged in touch with him, I guarantee you that's going to double, triple, quadruple the amount of patience that he has for listening, and just how much focus and attention you're going to keep him engaged. I love personally when, for example, when my wife plays with my beard, we could be talking in bed and she'll just be playing with my beard, and I can just be so much more engaged and attentive to her because of that element of touch. So that goes without saying. It may not occur to you, but try it for yourself and just see the difference that it'll make. Again, take these with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you from experience. So if this was helpful in any way, like I said, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I love the idea of couples building and improving their communication, because it's such a pivotal, a lot of breakthroughs can happen when you make these little tiny shifts and changes in how you communicate with each other. You guys will grow a lot closer together, and you'll start listening. If that's the complaint, rather than complaining about it, let's address it. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.